Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima. Over the course of 2026, I'm playing the game Persona 3 Reload. Only I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to match the pace of the game. That's right, I'm playing this game one real day at a time. Please enjoy this different take on the game in a series I'm calling Persona a Day. Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for being here today. It's always nice to see you. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. And for all the new faces, it's nice to meet you. I am Tom Shima, and let's have some fun today. I'm going to be continuing playing Persona 3 Reload in the series I've called Persona a Day, where I play the game one real day at a time as it corresponds to the in-game calendar. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, and it's just been so fun seeing this game play out on a daily pace like this. I hope you've been enjoying it too. So come on in, grab a snack, grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get into the day. Like I like to do, I start out by talking about what we did yesterday, just to catch everybody up and make sure we're on the same page. After that, we normally get into the game, but today we're going to take a little bit of a break and talk about Golden Week. Once we learn a bit more about Golden Week, we will then get into today's gameplay. After that, we'll come back here and talk about what we experienced and maybe put some new context onto it. And then we'll move ahead with the stream from there. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I will leave timestamps in the description so you can jump to whatever section most interests you. I do also want to mention that the nature of this playthrough is naturally going to end up touching into spoilers eventually. It is going to be a full playthrough, so that is kind of inevitable. And I have played the game before, but I am not letting any past knowledge influence decisions or topics discussed in this run. That said, though, this is a fantastic story, and it's one of my favorite games, so if you're on the fence about viewing the series and you haven't played the game yet, or you think you might, I really do encourage you to go play it yourself. I don't want to spoil any of this for you because I just love it that much. If you're okay with that, you've been warned, but that's my 2 cents on my recommendation for you. So all that out of the way, let's start off by looking at yesterday. Yesterday was Monday, May 4th. There was no school yesterday because we are in the middle of Golden Week right now. Yesterday was Greenery Day, a day to celebrate the environment and nature and just kind of make that connection to what's beyond you and what's around you and to that nature element of things. It was a good day to kind of reflect on nature and just appreciate it in as many ways as we could work out. There weren't a lot of ways in-game that we were able to touch on that, but it was, kind of fun to just keep it in mind. We stopped by the shrine and did stuff like that. And it has made the run a lot more fun, tying in the actual holidays to the gameplay. So we had no school yesterday as a result, but early on in the morning we received a text message from Miyamoto from the track team, just asking us if we wanted to hang out. I didn't have any set plans because I'm keeping every day open, so I considered that. And I didn't want to say yes right away because I did want to kind of see what else was available for my day before I committed to it. And with it being Greenery Day, I did want to get outside and enjoy nature a little bit. So we took a walk out of the dorm, as we kind of normally do, just to see the city, see the sights, and think about nature. I'd also considered spending some time with Maya playing the online game. Maya was a character we met in said online game, where we made a bit of a connection. But we had done that Sunday, so I didn't want to spend our entire Golden Week break just on an online game. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If the choice were mine and I were faced with going out with friends or playing an online game, I might choose that online game sometimes as well. But for our playthrough, I wanted to kind of keep it varied and unique. I also kind of reasoned that we won't have a lot of days off from school like this where Miyamoto and I could just hang out, so I decided it was going to be a fun day to spend with Miyamoto. So we got up to whatever we did. The game specifically showed us getting a meal together at the Wakatsu Kitchen fish place. And we got to just talking about training and dedication to said training. It was kind of nice to see Miyamoto talking about his mentality to training as it applies not only to the time on the track, but to other aspects of his life. He specifically tried to, give us his portion of rice from his meal, saying he was, trying to watch his carbs. So I asked him, are you dieting? He's like, yep, I'm trying to build muscle mass, so I'm watching my carb intake. It's, part of my training. And it was just really cool to see how deep his commitment runs to his training. It's not just the time at the track and then he's done. This really is his life right now. And it did such a good job showing that in such a small, social, innocent scene of just us going to getting a meal, and that transitioning into looking more deeply at his focus on how seriously he does take things. And, seeing that dedication also kind of helped us form a bit more of a bond. We got a little bit closer together as a result. And so it was nice to see that side of him, which isn't really a different side since we do know he's dedicated to training, but I guess it's just a broader side that just further shows that commitment in all aspects of his life. So we had our meal and we did whatever else we did throughout the day that the game didn't show us. And on that day, portion wrapped up, headed to the evening. So I went back to the dorm and found everybody just doing what they do, having their meals, reading books, all that good stuff. And they were kind of all talking about the ideas of being prepared for the shadow expeditions. We're investigating, this Tartarus tower and fighting shadow entities that we're not quite understanding yet. As a result, we need to be as prepared as possible for whatever unknowns do arise. And that kind of got me thinking more about my role as the team leader and how I need to step up to that as well. I mean, they are all counting on me, as they said, in basically, plain to my face. And it was in my head that I need to live up to that role, that expectation. I am the leader, and I need to show it, and I need to hold myself to that same standard that they hold me to. We also ended up going upstairs and talking to Mitsuru, who was actually training with her own persona to deepen her shadow detection abilities. Another side of training and preparedness. So that really seemed to be kind of an underlying theme that we ran into a lot yesterday, of training ourselves all the time and being ready for anything at any point. And it was kind of good to have that reminder, because it would be so easy to just let it go to my head almost, that I'm the leader, I'm the protagonist, I'm the hero here, so it's always going to work out for me. But these people are counting on me. I do have responsibilities, and I do need to own up to that. And it was actually kind of nice because I wasn't sure how we wanted to spend our evening. That mentality kind of helped direct me. I originally, a couple days ago, considered heading back to work at the Chagall Cafe because we're running a little low on money. But I was kind of pulled back and forth because this is Golden Week. This is a break from school. And I kind of wanted to make it fun. This guy's in high school. He's been busy with all sorts of things, so breaks can be few and far between. But this was a good opportunity for me to actually step up and show my commitment rather than just saying, oh yeah, I'll be ready. Oh yeah, I'm prepared. This gave me a chance to earn a little bit more yen that I can put towards medicine or gear or whatever we need for our expeditions. And it showed a bit of my commitment to actually stepping up and doing the work that needs done rather than just being all talk. And as a personal benefit, it allowed me to work on my charm and my courage a little bit as well. So I ended up feeling really productive with that choice. It wasn't necessarily the most fun way to spend a day off, but it was a responsible way to spend the day off, and that kind of, to me, almost felt like fun because I was living up to what other people think I should be capable of. And I am trying to show that I want to understand that their respect isn't misplaced and that I understand my role as their leader. And part of the team. I also don't want to keep setting myself apart and saying I'm the leader and they follow me. I'm part of a team just like everybody else. So it just kind of felt like there were a lot of ways to integrate that concept into these choices. And that's kind of how I let the evening go for me. So with that, we headed back to the dorm, probably kind of tired from spending the day out, with Miyamoto and then working that shift in the evening. Probably ready for a good bit of sleep at night there. And it was, Golden Week continues on today, so there were also those thoughts of having another day off on the horizon. It must have been nice. So we drifted off to sleep thinking about what tomorrow would bring, and that was where that day ended. So that was the end of Monday, May 4th. That catches us up to Tuesday today. Like I've said the last couple days, normally this is where I jump into the gameplay section, but today is Golden Week still, as I've said no few times at this point. Today's actually the last day of Golden Week. But what I've been doing for these last few holidays is taking a bit of a break here to talk about some research I did. I've really wanted to keep my focus on the actual reason for not having school and for having the free time that we've had, more than just seeing it as a day off to do other things. And I've been familiar with Golden Week in the past, but I haven't really done proper research or ever actually experienced it. So I've tried to do a little bit of that this week and put some different context into the game. And also, as I've said every day this week, this is my own research that I've tried to do properly, but if I don't quite represent something properly or it could be better, please feel free to correct me. I want it to be right, and I'm going with what I know, but I also know I don't know everything, so if there's more I could say, please help me out. But today, Tuesday the 5th, is Children's Day. It marks the end of Golden Week, And as the name suggests, at the base level, it's a day to celebrate children. It's a lot more than that, but just to set the general tone, that's where we'll start. I was surprised at the long history it has. I mean, I shouldn't be, considering the age of the country, but it's a very long history. It actually began, from my understanding, around the 7th century, where the 5th day of the 5th month was celebrated as the day where the seasons change. And that kind of evolved and changed as time went forward and as the samurai class rose up. So during the Kamakura period, around the late 1100s to the 1300s, it became known as Boys' Day, which was a day to celebrate the growth and strength of boys as they grew into capable men, good leaders, and skilled warriors. And that mentality persisted for quite some time. Fast forward many, many years, in 1948, Boys' Day became known as Children's Day to be more inclusive of all children, not just boys. And so now it celebrates the potential of all children, focusing on their health, their success, and their happiness, and finding and nurturing the different individual talents and desires that, all children have. It's not just about crafting boys into strong, capable, warrior leaders. It's about taking any child's potential and doing everything you can to help them investigate, discover, and improve it. It's also an important time for family. And so it's a day for parents to spend time with their children and children to spend time with their parents, doing activities together and sharing meals together. It seems like it's quite common to eat traditional meals as a family. And there's a big tie to passing along old traditions to the newer generation as part of Children's Day as well. So it takes that history idea and it keeps those old traditions alive as it passes it on to the new generation. And it's kind of hard to think of Golden Week in general, but Children's Day specifically, and not picture carp streamers. I've never been to Japan, but it seems like that's the iconic image that is iconic. Those symbolize, the perseverance of the carp and overcoming challenges. And they've all got colorful, unique designs, which also ties to the uniqueness of everyone. And something I hadn't appreciated that it came up in my research was typically they're grouped with different sized carp, with a couple larger ones and some smaller ones to actually depict the idea of a family. So it was kind of cool to see that, even that aspect is specifically called out in the decorating and the imagery. In addition to the iconic carp streamers, apparently you also see a lot of displays of irises and samurai armor. And those tie a lot more back to the original history of the seasons changing and of Boys' Day, as they were, molding young men into warriors. There was the family armor and stuff like that, which, obviously, that's not quite as common anymore, but it kind of became that decorative motif and that old imagery that does still survive and keeps that old tradition of the warrior spirit going. And so that's why you'll see decorations like that around. So again, it's just that cool traditional connection of old and new, and not just totally supplanting what used to be with what is now, but remembering the roots of where things came from as they go forward. Well, I just wanted to let that be known so that as we get into today, we can maybe try to see some of these connections around the game. Whether or not it'll actually call anything out for Children's Day specifically, it may or may not, but I just wanted to keep that in mind to be aware of it. Especially considering, today is May 5th, so it is Children's Day in Japan. So, on all those notes on that history lesson, let's get into today and see where it takes us. I'll send us over to the game, and we'll be right there. Sorry about that, this should look and sound better. So this is where we left things off yesterday at the end of Monday. We had just finished working in the Chagall Cafe. We'd gained a little bit of progress in our charm and our courage. Not enough to level us up, but enough to make progress. From there, we headed back to the dorm to get into today. Yes, now it is Tuesday the 5th. And as we talked about, today is Children's Day, the last day of Golden Week. Let's get the game saved and get right into it. So, as we do, kind of a normal rotation at this point, I like to start with our messages and then see where everyone else went. See where we want to take our day in relation to all that knowledge. We've got another message from Maya. Maya's online. I'm a log on now. Could be fun to spend some time with Maya today. We got an ad from Hagakure Ramen. It's good for your skin. We'll let you in on a secret. Our ramen is really good for your skin. The collagen that our dishes contain is sure to make you stunning. Our tender pork is a friend of beautiful skin. Make yourself shine by eating at Hagakure. We have not eaten there yet. That could be something to consider. And for now, let's head downstairs and just see what the dorm mates are up to. Maybe somebody else has something else going on for the day. I see familiar faces with not a whole lot new to say. They both look like they're just, taking a break here, enjoying their time. Let's see what the TV has for us today. Today is Children's Day. The Minister of Public Management has reported the number of children under 15 years of age. According to the report, 9.8% of the population is aged 15 years or younger. The report marks the first time Japan's child population has been under 10%. The aging population is slowly becoming a problem in some areas. The government has called for more data regarding the situation and ordered a study into the matter. All right. So, I guess just real information there. Not a whole lot for me to weigh in on there. It really just felt like a news broadcast. Stats and figures and plans and government action. So I forgot our plan already. We're just 5 minutes into the stream, but we also wanted to see what everybody else did with their day. So let's take a look at that. Most people went the social link route. Some went with the old couple, some went with Maya, some went with Kenji. A few went to the ramen place or the movie theater, or even studied in the room. So a lot of different choices made there. I still don't want to necessarily, say, one is better than the other at this point, because all the choices do have their own merits. But let's mix it up. I always, kind of go the same route through things. Let's go somewhere totally different first off. We'll do our rounds around town and see what other options present themselves. We've been doing a good job talking to everybody, so there aren't a lot of new people with new things to say. Nothing wrong with hearing some of the same stuff over again either, but we have heard it before, so there's only so much to subject you to. I know. It's Children's Day today, remember? And one of the decorative elements there was armor. I always like to check in with Kurosawa anyway, but let's take a look at the armor he has on offer. It's not traditionally, samurai armor, but it ties into the day a little bit. It might be a stretch, but it is what it is. For anybody who hasn't remembered, Officer Kurosawa here provides us with weapons, armor, footwear, and accessories at decent prices.
Uh-huh. What are you looking for?
So yeah, it's not the traditional, family armor idea. He still just has, rash guard and chest protector. It is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. We're not really here to shop either. We've been pretty good at keeping our gear up to date.
What'll it be?
And the fact that there's nothing new to buy either kind of, furthers that decision for us. And the biggest thing too is we're still pretty low on yen. But I also do like to just stop and see Officer Kurosawa as regular as we can. He's an ally to the team, and I want to just keep him part of our mentality. But nothing to buy today, so I'll just check in and hope he's having a good part of his golden week.
Be seeing you.
And we've done the same with Igor and Elizabeth. Actually, since I'm not sure how we're going to spend the day, I'd considered potentially looking at, spending some time with the elderly couple today. I don't believe we have a persona to tie into them. They were the Hierophant, and they're not in the calendar. Yes. Bunkichi and Mitsuko here. And as far as my personas go, yes, I do not have the corresponding persona right now. So actually, while we're here, let's not do too many laps around town today. Try to be a little efficient for everybody and all of you here. And if I forget to come back, that's just one other thing.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
But I do like to stop in and say hi to Elizabeth and Igor, and just usually stop in and visit. But today I'm actually going to stop by with business for them as I summon a new persona.
This is your progress so far.
We'd had omoikane before, but we'd used it as an ingredient in a new persona. So let's just call this back.
Yes? So you'll be summoning this one?
It's not cheap. It's a good bit of our money here,
Well, it's yours.
but it will help our social
Are
interactions.
you finished?
And,
We look forward to your next visit.
as we progress further in Tartarus, it will be nice to just have that extra bit of versatility that having more personas does offer us, between elemental attacks as well as defensive resistances. It's better to be more prepared than less prepared. Kind of like we ended up talking about last night, not knowing what's coming and being ready for it. That is why we spent some time working at the cafe and earning our own way. If I didn't do that last night, it would have been a lot harder to make this decision today to get this persona back. Doesn't really matter if I equip it or not. I just wanted to pull up its stats here. It's resistant to electrical attacks. So if we're facing that, it would be good to switch over to that for that defensive coverage. We also have 2 different elemental attacks, Zio and Bufu, and the healing ability Dia. So this is a nice, well-rounded persona to have on hand going forward. And the fact that it also helps our social interactions with the elderly couple is just an added bonus on top of that. Not that I'm going to say we're going to 100% head their way today, but it did cross my mind, so we'll keep considering it. We bought a little bit at the pharmacy back on Saturday when things were on sale. We also stopped here with Yuko that same day.
Right.
The pharmacist is still talking about the benefit of preemptive measures before medicine is needed. Still not selling anything new, so I'm just going to stop in and wish him a happy Children's Day. He looks like he's busy too, so I don't want to take him away from his other customers or get in his way.
Got everything you need? Thanks.
Stop in and say hi. We've got the music place. Hasn't been a whole lot to do there. We got to spend some time with Kenji not that long ago. And Game Parade, we're always considering what games are on offer there. Let's see what today has. We've got House of the Deceased, a horror game with terrifying zombies that we can use to raise our courage. And Real Wheel Racer to raise our equipped persona's agility. Not probably going to look at either of those. I mean, courage is always good, but I'm down to 4,000 yen, so I don't really want to spend 3/4 of that in one session there. Let's keep the roaming going. We'll head down to the station, the Port Island station for here. And no. We'll get to the station outskirts. It's always kind of good to build over to that area. We can stop and we can see this outdoor cafe and see how busy it is once again. And just getting to see all these different people going about their day, doing what they do. A lot of people around the fountain today. I've said before, I've always kind of liked fountains like that. Nice to just see it's still that social gathering idea. I'm not necessarily looking at the movie theater, but can't rule it out either. We've got Smile at the Eiffel Tower showing today, which would raise our charm. I believe we could also work here today. We have 5,000 yen to work for the day. That wouldn't be bad. That would raise our academics and our courage. So that will be something to consider. It would be a way to gain yen as well as some social progress, just like we done last night at the cafe. But again, it is also still Golden Week, and it is a holiday, so I do want to balance that responsible side with that fun side. Sometimes responsibility can be fun, but there was a girl we'd met the other day that was talking about wishing she had more homework in school because she doesn't feel like she's prepared for middle school properly. And I kind of wanted to just have that idea of, we talked to her and said, don't worry about it. You will be ready. You're still a kid. You're still in elementary school. You've got a lot of years ahead of you, so enjoy the things you can only enjoy as a kid. And if I'm going to apply that logic to her, I should apply it to myself as well. Now, I'm a high school student. There are some things that can only be done when you're a high school student. So I don't want to ignore those aspects of life and just get down to business and miss out on living what is a limited time. I guess that circles back to the idea of choice in general, but it'll be part of my thought process going forward again still. We've been standing here next to Junpei, probably confusing him as we've been silent, but let's see what he's up to today. I came to catch a movie with my bud. But dude, no one's showed up yet. Maybe I'm just early, but he has had a rough Golden Week. A couple days ago, he tried to come to the theater, but all the tickets were sold out. He hasn't had any luck with the ladies like he was hoping for Golden Week. Sounds like, today he's still waiting on his friends to, show up for the movie. I hope it works out for him. He deserves a break like everybody else. We stop by the outskirts here. Not much to see. Couple guys there. And our unofficial mascot of the stream, the weak cat here. Mew. Still haven't named it. It's not necessarily our place to even name it. And I've always liked to think that it hangs out with the other guys back here, and they're a group. And I've also kind of taken to mentioning you can kind of see off to the side here, we've got another cat that hangs out on the outskirts there. If I get too close, it's going to run off. But there's always just that extra narrative part of my brain that likes to think, maybe these two cats do interact with each other. Maybe they're friends. Maybe they're rivals. I don't know. The game doesn't tell me. It's up to me or all of us to decide. What do you guys think? Again, this game does such a great job at spreading all sorts of little details and things for you to add your own meaning to. I'm trying to be mindful of that as we go forward with the playthrough here. And it has made me see things in a different way that's been very enjoyable. That looks like that covers everything they have going on at Port Island Station today. Let's take a bit of a break at the Naganaki Shrine. It's usually kind of a quiet place. And I think I've said it every single time I've come here, but I just kind of like that break from the big city atmosphere and everything to get away from it and just take a breath and unwind in a peaceful place. Especially this tree. I always seem to get drawn back to this big sacred tree here. Just a nice peaceful place to stop and think, to see nature. Today, with it being Children's Day, it is also kind of that fun chance to again look back and see where things have come. The idea of growth symbolized in a tree. I mean, it doesn't really get clearer than that. But, old traditions and traditional concepts like the shrine here, as it's persisted throughout the years. There is this big modern city all around it, but the area hasn't forgotten its ties to where it came from. And I think that was, in my research, another important aspect of Children's Day. Not only is it a day to focus on the growth of children, but it's a day to share those old traditions with the children and to keep them alive and in the main focus. So it's that fun idea of looking backwards and forwards at the same time. And I've also kind of liked, like all holidays in all places and other celebratory events, the day is focused on children at this point, but it really is for everybody. It's for families. It's for the people that have experienced Children's Day when they were children. If you think of other holidays around, something is totally different as a kid versus as an adult, but it's still that same holiday. You can look back on your own time experiencing these holidays as a kid, as you're now an adult. And it's fun to try to take what you loved about it and pass that on to the new generation. This was so cool when I was a kid. I hope I can help some kid experience that same thing. Or, this is what I always wanted to do when I was a kid on this, so I want to make sure I can help some kid do that, now. It's that social-mindedness and that sharing of things that were important to you when you were a kid with the new generation of kids. And the chance that it'll make that same connection that was made with you, and it'll keep living on as you pass that idea down. Maybe it's kind of a roundabout tangent way to think about staring at a tree here for a while, but it gives us something to talk about and to relate to the current holiday, and to keep being mindful of. I've said it with every part of Golden Week so far in-game. It's so easy to just see these as in-game day-off days where I can fill it with whatever thing I want to do, and not even consider why. I mean, coming into these days, I had to actually stop and pull out the calendar and say, okay, what day is next? It's like, okay, it was Greenery Day, or it is Children's Day. So it's been so cool to have that chance and reason to do the research. And I've always had the chance, I just haven't done it, but to have the reason to do the research and to actually try to appreciate and understand why this is so important. And it's been fun applying that to the game. Even beyond the game, too. It's been fun these last couple days. When it was Greenery Day, I got up early and I took a couple-mile walk outside just to think about nature, to be around the greenery. And it's just what I was hoping it would be, to kind of live beyond the game in my head. This game playthrough is done one day at a time, but it is a whole day at a time. And it's kind of working into other aspects of my life, which has been fun. Hopefully, as you've been watching it, you've been having fun with it as well. Let's head off to the Iwatodai Station Strip Mall now. And we're already at the crosswalk here. I always like where the camera pans back here too, and you can get the full scale of both sets of staircases and the 3 levels of the mall. So I always just kind of enjoy and appreciate that. The big wild duck sign way up top there. Well, let's start at the station, then work our way back here. There hasn't been a lot to see, but this is how stations kind of go. You're not there to really just hang out all that much. You're usually here for a purpose, whether you're meeting someone, going somewhere. But it is nice to always just see it and make sure. This was that precocious girl we talked about who wanted to have more homework so she could feel more ready for middle school. We talked to her the other day, and she's got nothing new to say, but it's Children's Day. So maybe I can be that that voice of reassurance there, that things will be okay, and that you can focus on being a kid for now, and you will still have your talents to nurture going forward. So yeah, my teacher doesn't assign us homework. But we're moving on to middle school next year. I'm worried. And so just like before, I wanted to be that voice of reassurance. I'm a high school guy. I've been through elementary school. I've been through middle school. I'm in high school. So I can kind of try to take some of those worries and say, no, it will be okay. You're right to be mindful of the future, but you also get to be a kid, so don't forget about that side of your life. So yeah, don't be. It's fine. I don't want to dismiss her concerns as something irrelevant because they are concerns to her, but I just want to encourage her to that things are okay. Really? Did you not get much homework when you were in middle school? Maybe they're trying to relax the students? Well, I hope I can at least graduate from college. And so she does have that long-term look, that plan for her future. And that's one of these important aspects of today. It's to nurture the drive of those children to attain those goals. So hopefully by offering my words of encouragement, that's been a bit of a contribution towards a child on Children's Day. But let's continue our stroll through the area here. Looks like the takoyaki place is doing well. So they got the mascot here. It still has an audience of children enjoying it. You like to see it. And just everybody doing their thing and being where they are. Groups hanging out, talking to each other. Not a lot for me to intrude on there. Obviously, it's not my place for any of that. I just like to take that walk through and see. Busy place too. There's a lot of people to try to not walk into. And this idea was kind of in my head all day since I had seen a couple of the other ideas played through it, but it has been a while since we've done anything with the couple at the bookstore here. So yes, that did somewhat influence my routing choices for today on where we stopped first, second, and third, but we did pick up that persona in the Velvet Room today to prepare us for spending some time with the elderly couple. It's been a while since we've done so, and it also kind of, in my head, fits the idea of Children's Day a little bit more. I mean, they have that traditional, the fact that they are an elderly couple. They've seen a lot of things. They've lived an entire life. They've got that wisdom that they can share with me. And it's in our limited interaction so far. They've already been encouraging of our behaviors and seeing us as someone that they can relate to. So I think it might be kind of fun to, see them as like an unofficial family for today maybe and spend some time with them. It is a time for that togetherness after all. So I think, other things we could do. I actually don't remember where Tomochika was. But, other people spent time with Maya. I had considered that as well, because like I said the other day, there aren't going to be a lot of chances to spend time with Maya, because it does take a whole day off. And, it is quite tempting from a gamer standpoint to want to, go play an online game when you've got some time off. I'll be the first one to admit that, but I'm sure all of you gamers out there can probably say the same thing. And just from a Persona 3 Reload side of things, it probably, strategically, logistically makes more sense to spend time with Maya now while I can. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm not going through the min-max style playthrough. I'm not going through with the guides. If it takes longer to interact with Maya throughout the months, so be it. We'll get as far as we can on everything. We'll do what we can. We'll make our choices. We'll live with our choices. And so much of this is I just have really been enjoying how I've been trying to fit my choices into the narrative of the game itself. Whether they're optimal or not has kind of been irrelevant. The fact that looking at the old couple for some time today seems to check a lot of those boxes for my side of things. It's been a while. It fits the holiday theme. I want to just nurture that social link. It's hard to talk to somebody and then not see him again for a couple weeks and say, hey, remember me? I'm that guy that brought you a leaf 2 weeks ago. I do want to kind of just keep that connection. Social links only really work if there's an actual link there, right? And that's true with Maya as well, but we did spend some time with her 2 days ago. So it's just kind of juggling a lot, but making progress in a lot of different directions. And the fact that we also bought that persona with our limited funds, it'll serve a lot of purposes, but one of those purposes is to deepen our social link connection with the elderly couple. So, based on all that, I think this is where I want to spend the daytime portion of Children's Day, here at Bookworms. The used bookstore Bookworms. I feel as if I can grow closer thanks to the Hierophant persona, Omowikane. I feel like I might grow closer to the elderly couple soon. So yes, I'm going to spend the day with the elderly couple at the bookstore. See what sort of wisdom they have that they can impart to me from their past, and how I can apply that to my future.
Oh, you came back. Welcome. What was your name again?
I've said it every stream, I don't say it enough, but, I am Tom Shima. We'll remind Bunkichi, yep, I'm Tom Shima.
Oh, no need to tell me. I was just joking. I'm not that senile.
I've said it before, but I really love the way they portray, Bunkichi and his wife in this game. I've known some elderly people just like that you can almost not be sure if they're telling it to you straight. I mean, I could totally, there's been some people I know, if he'd done the same thing, it's like, what was your name again? And you're not sure if he's serious, so you go to tell him, and you just see that hint of a smile at the edge of his face. It's like, that twinkle in his eye, like, oh, you fell for it, I got you. I've always, felt that Bunkichi comes across that way to me. So he just, tells us to say, oh yeah, I know, I was just joking, I'm not senile, but I got you. That's how sharp I actually am. You fell for it, not me.
My wife and I were just talking about you. Tell me, do you like this kind of treat? Someone gave it to me, but I have more than enough. Go ahead and take it.
And just that typical, sweet elderly person idea too of sharing, whatever treat this is, with somebody else. It's that old, candy dish idea or whatever. Oh, I got this and I want to give it to you. And I've also had people like that too, that it almost seems like if you try to decline it, they in my experience, some of them have almost sounded like hurt. It's like, well, I wanted to give this to you and you now you don't want it. So I always think it is better to accept that generosity. He wants to give this to me. I didn't coerce him. I didn't, stare at whatever sweet this is and, longingly look at it and sigh. It's like, he approached me, offering it to me. So obviously he wants me to have it. So the only right thing to do, I think, is to be appreciative and say thank you.
Don't worry about it. You don't have to thank me for something as small as this.
I appreciate that thought, but I think it is being thankful for the little things that is really that foundation of a good relationship with anybody, but with somebody like this. He didn't have to do this for me. He was thinking specifically about it. Maybe Tom would like this. I want to give it to him. I do appreciate that thought. He didn't have to do that, but he willingly chose to, and I feel like, that should be thanked. I do appreciate that.
You're so polite, I say. You're like his complete opposite. Would you like another to give to a friend? We have so many. My wife and I would take forever to finish them all.
And now it's almost that tough question of, I do want to take him up on his offer for the same reason as before, but I don't want to come across as that greedy person. It's like, well, I gave you one, and now you want another. But again, he did offer this. He didn't give me one, and I didn't say, oh, can I have one more for a friend? And he also did say he and his wife would have trouble finishing them all, which may or may not be true. I could kind of see them as wanting to give to give me this thing just because it's a snack and they want to see me enjoy it, sort of thing. So I don't want to take what they have that they had wanted. But again, I don't think he'd have offered this if he didn't actually want me to have it. So I will again be appreciative and say, yes, I would like that. Thank you.
Right then. Here you go. For real this time. What was your name again?
Goodness, dear. It's him, remember?
Every one of these interactions, it's really been hard to know for sure, whether or not he is true on this. I mean, I've encountered people like that myself. It's like, he could tell me with a totally straight face, like, I really did forget this time. What was it? And then you tell him, and it would be that those couple of moments, and then there you go again. It's like, oh yeah, I knew. You fell for it twice now.
My apologies. He's been terribly forgetful lately.
At the same time, though, this is kind of a potentially touchy subject, so I don't want to just assume these things about these people either. I mean, it could very well be that Bunkichi doesn't remember, so I don't want to delve too deeply into joking around with him about that because sometimes it literally might not be a joke. So there are things where you do kind of have to get to know the person and know where their sense of humor is and where that line is, and what is actually funny and what might be not so funny.
Here you are.
Not to end the conversation there with them on a negative note, but it's more of that mindfulness in getting to know these people and deepening those connections. Very sweet of them, 2 melon breads.
Say, where did that boy run off to, dear? He should be here helping customers. Sorry about that.
I've only seen the couple here, so I don't know who he's referring to. And at the same time, based on what Mitsuko had been saying, I'm not sure that Bunkichi is necessarily totally focused, or I don't want to say in his right mind, but where his mind is at right now, so I don't want to pry too deep into anything. I am curious about what boy they're referencing, but just like when he gave me the bread, if he wanted me to have something or to know something, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would initiate it himself. And it feels like I would be prying to just kind of dig deeper on something that he didn't specifically want to call to my attention necessarily. So I'm gonna keep it light. And try to live up to that polite atmosphere he says I give off and say, oh no need to apologize.
I'm sure you could use another youngster like yourself around, instead of talking to an old man like me.
Oh, no. That was the entire reason we came. Well, not the entire reason we came here today, but a motivating reason we came here today. It was to listen to that wisdom from a different generation and to see what sort of traditions they could pass on, or see how the different viewpoints could be applied to the modern world. It's so easy to, I don't know, forget about that, but I want to just try to keep being mindful about things. And with it being Children's Day, this seemed like a really good time to look backwards to see how I can apply the knowledge and experience of the past as I go forwards. So yeah, we were here to talk to an elderly couple. If I wanted to talk to other people, I have options for that, but I specifically did want to visit Bunkichi and his wife here for visiting them, not for anybody else.
I'm sure our son will be back soon enough, right, dear?
Oh, my dear, he's...
The music cuts out here now, and now this feels like I'm kind of stuck having to pry. It doesn't really give me a choice to downplay any of this. So I do kind of have to dig deeper than maybe I would want to in a situation like this. I guess let's just ask. Yeah, he's what?
Oh, that's right. Our son has already passed away.
Ah. Well, I kind of had an idea that was where they were going based on the tone of voices there, but... Sorry, just kind of thinking maybe spending Children's Day with them in this sense, maybe this is bringing back some more negative memories than some positive ones. Hopefully not, but I guess this wasn't really the kind of Children's Day I wanted to make them experience.
I'm sorry, young man. I apologize on behalf of my son for not being here to greet you.
That's not something to apologize for. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but hopefully this didn't bring up too many bad memories. I lack a lot of details, so it's hard for me to really know any of the story other than that their son has already passed away, but hopefully my being here wasn't a bad thing to them, especially with it being Children's Day. I'm sure it made them confront things they might not have wanted to think about today, but maybe by being able to talk to me, maybe it helped them. I hope it did anyway. That they opened up about their painful past, and we grew a little closer. That is rank 2 with the elderly couple and the Hierophant Arcana. I'm glad we got closer, despite the tone being not the happy holiday vibe that Golden Week could be. But I also do like, as much as one can. I'm glad I had the chance to spend Golden Week with this couple. I mean, there wasn't anyone else here, and it might have been more sad if they didn't have anyone. And I might be looking at it unfairly and thinking I'm not some sort of hero in this regard. I am happy I was able to spend time with them, but hopefully it made a positive impact on their day, I guess, is just where I want to go with that.
Hey now, the two of you look like you just seen a ghost. It's dark outside. We don't need it to be dark in here, too.
Okay, Bunkichi wants us to be happy.
Come visit us again, will you? We'll be waiting.
I will. This felt like a good visit. I got to see a lot of different sides of them and to make a little bit of a deeper connection to them. I parted ways with the couple and went back to the dorm. That brings us to the evening already. There's a box on the counter. Looks like the product I ordered through the shopping program on TV has arrived. That was really quick. We ordered that Sunday morning. It's only Tuesday evening now. For those of you who weren't around Sunday, Tanaka's Amazing Commodities was on, and there was an offer to buy a rose bouquet and a couple luxury chocolates. I kind of went back and forth on the decision, but decided to do it. And they said they were going to mail it out. It's here already. Let's see what's inside. Yep, rose bouquet, 2 luxury chocolates.
Welcome back.
I don't know what I'm necessarily going to do with them, but now I've got them if the option for something comes up. Junpei's already back. I hope he got to see his movie today. Sup, dude? He's back to his games. You'll like to see it. Let's get the game saved. I'll be that guy to interrupt him again and just see how his day went. Sanada-san and Kirijo-senpai aren't back yet. Guess we won't be going to Tartarus tonight. Yucatan said she's going to go study in her room. What to do? Yep, and that's another reminder we haven't really talked about, but you see this white line down here. These are midterms starting Monday the 18th. It's still a couple weeks out, but things like that always seem to creep up quicker than it seems, at least in my experience. So I do want to stay mindful of the impending exams and do as much as we can to prepare ahead of time. While we're staring at the calendar, a few nights ago, it might have been Saturday, I think it was Saturday, after we had gone to bed for the day, during the dark hour, the mysterious boy showed up and told us that we had some sort of challenging hardship approaching in a week's time during the full moon. So, as you can see by the moon phases on the calendar, Saturday the 9th is the full moon that he's telling us to be prepared for. He didn't tell us what was going to happen other than it was going to be a hardship. So that's something else I need to keep in probably more the forefront of my mind, since that's just a few days away. But that catches up, I guess, on all those little bits of things. Let's get the TV up while we're here and see. The news is on right now. So just like that, that's all we need to think about with that. We'll stop here and get refreshed and cleaned up as we decide what we want to do with the rest of our evening time. I've got the day off. I need to figure out something good to do. I'm gonna head up to my room and we'll give some serious thought to that. Another little thing like this. I mean, typically these are things, if I were playing it by myself, I would just do all this in the lobby and stand there. But I want this dorm, this building, this world to feel like a place for us for the next year. And that comes with going up the stairs and going to our room and using our room for things. So that's why I come up here from time to time. It doesn't have to happen narratively, or there's no game purpose for it, but from just our own story experience side of things, that was my choice. So we've got a couple, I guess not really ads, but kind of ads here. We've got Mandragora, wanting to let it all out. Let all your stress out by singing at the top of your lungs. How about some karaoke tonight? We hope to see you. A word from the manager. We're seeing a lot of solo customers lately. If you've got what it takes to perform on your own, then come on down. I remember when we were working on Courage, we went there that time, and it was a good time. And Chagall Cafe is still looking for workers. We did work there last night. Urgently seeking workers. Chagall is very busy today, and we could use all the help we can get. Students may apply, no experience required. Those who work today will receive a bonus on top of the normal paycheck. We look forward to meeting you. And that is tempting. Let's also see how everyone else chose to spend their time. Obviously, no one went to Tartarus because Mitsuru and Akihiko aren't available. We can't go without Mitsuru to guide us. So everybody else went around various things around town. And I guess we have to be one of them. We have to make a choice here. Let's take a quick look again at our social stats. They haven't changed. I mean, they actually did level up our academics not that long ago, but we are currently a plain, ordinary, average guy. I've really been enjoying seeing the progress. With exams coming, there's that part of me that still wants to keep focusing on academics. There's another part of me that sees our charm at level 1 where everything else is level 2, so doing some stuff to work on charm has its benefits as well. And courage is only level 2 out of however high that goes, 5 or 6, whichever it is, but so there's really no wrong choice for making progress. We're going to need progress everywhere. But having some sort of plan and some sort of focus just makes better use of the time than going too blindly. There's taking it as it comes, and then there's just not being prepared. And I want that fine balance between the two. We've also spent some money, so we're sitting at a not so high 4,402 yen, which is a little very limiting right now, especially considering evening activities that do cost money. If I run out of funds, I won't be able to do that. If I run out of funds, it will be hard to get us geared up for Tartarus or to have medicine on hand for Tartarus. But it's also Golden Week and it is a holiday, so there's that, again, like I've had the last couple nights, that part of me that considers doing something fun, I suppose, but kind of like last night talking about being a prepared leader, putting my time in for the team and having the resources that I can spend on developing myself and bettering the team is something a good leader should consider doing. I'm kind of drawn again back to Chagall Cafe, especially since they're paying a little bit extra today. For the same social side of yesterday, we would get that bonus to our charm and our courage, which doesn't do anything to help our academics. A little bit more yen is going to be helpful to maybe pick up another persona in whatever this impending challenge that we're going to face come the weekend is. Or it'll give us a chance to buy new gear once Officer Kurosawa's got more, or new medicine once the pharmacy updates. New software for that shared computer over there. There's a lot of things money can do, obviously. And we don't have very much of it right now, so that limits how much we could potentially do. And again, it's hard to want to walk out and go to work at the end of a holiday where we're back to back to school. It's back to normal life tomorrow. Stand in the doorway there. So I just keep thinking about that idea about being responsible, though, and how we talked about it last night and how everybody is counting on me. I want to keep living up to that, and if that means putting my time in and going to work. I do have the time right now. I'm standing here in the lobby talking and not doing anything, so obviously there's nothing extremely pressing that's taking my attention right now. So I think for the betterment of the team and for myself, maybe we'll head to the mall and stop in and see if anything's going on at Club Escapade, since we haven't been able to do a whole lot there yet. I don't want to decide without seeing all my choices for sure, but I am leaning heavily towards headed over to work at Chagall again. I don't see anybody new to talk to around here, but maybe inside the cafe or the club. Still looks as status quo as it's been. And I still like the fact that we're able to come in here. Even just being able to open that door shows that we made the progress ranking up our courage back when we did. And we haven't been able to do a whole lot here. There's a guy back there that sells URLs we could use at the shared computer. We got a fortune teller who so far has had the same fortune for us every time. I guess we've asked her about it every time, so why change that streak? I want to know my future. And let us begin. You have pulled fate's trigger. The bullet passes through many, heading directly to its target. What target that may be, however, is unknown to me. You must find that out for yourself. Let us hope that you find fortune in your destiny. Oh, same fortune. Nothing better, nothing worse. I can already see couples up here. Yep. Not a whole lot else going on up here. Doesn't look like they need my involvement in anything. So it's still nice to have access to this place, and we'll see where it goes in the future. And broke up our walk just that little bit more as well. Let's hang out by the fountain here for a second and just talk a little bit before committing to work for the evening. I do think that's what I'm going to do, but I don't want to let the day get away from us without again circling it back to Children's Day and thinking about applying lessons from the past to the future and nurturing that growth idea. I mean, finding potential and just trying to help someone better themselves seems to be an important part of Children's Day. At this point, I'm still a high school student, so I may as well still be a child. I've got a lot of growth and potential to do, and working at that cafe does show that little bit of commitment to responsibility. I'm bettering myself in terms of charm and in terms of courage, which will be applicable to all aspects of my life. I'm, working for my own wage, which is rewarding in its own way. It's kind of that transitioning, I guess, from the freedom of being a kid to having the responsibilities that one gets to have to overtake and overcome as an adult. As a part-time worker, too, it's that controlled environment. I mean, it's going to be busy. They said specifically they've got a lot of extra customers today. But, that's also how life goes. But it's not like I'm going to be spending my entire day off there. I was able to get out and spend some time with the elderly couple and to take a walk during the day. And it's already the evening hours, so it's not a huge time commitment, but I think the return on spending our time there checks a lot of boxes, and it's still in line with Children's Day. I mean, we also got to spend time with the elderly couple and get their opinion on some things and just enjoy the holiday with them in that group atmosphere. I think we spent our holiday as a holiday. It wasn't just a day that disappeared like so many days off can tend to do. But again, like the rest of Golden Week, it's been fun to be mindful of it the whole way through, so I just wanted to do that before we stopped into work. So let's save the game first. But yes, let's stop into Chagall Cafe and help them out in their busy time. Get that little bit of income, get that part-time experience, and raise some charm and courage in the process. A lot of good things. Let's work part-time. Yeah, there does look to be more people today, which also kind of stands to reason. Everything I've read said that Golden Week is especially busy. The in-game news talked about how busy the highways were and how crowded traffic was. So it makes sense that foot traffic is just as busy, and places would need extra help at these times. So it's that good chance to work more efficiently than usual. It's always good to work efficiently, but when external situations really kind of force your hand, you don't have a choice. You have to do it. The customers are ordering a lot today. The cafe is filled with pheromones. To quickly make room for more customers, I carried a lot of dishes all at once. I gave you a little bonus on top of your usual pay. Thanks for helping out during peak time. I also, I think we worked during peak time last week as well. It's nice to hear the manager actually acknowledge that. We came in on our day off, on our holiday, and he knows it was busy. It wasn't just one of those, here's your pay, I paid you, so we're square. It's like, he realizes that that this was extra work. This was harder. He compensated us accordingly, and he seems genuinely thankful about it. I feel like that's just the sign of a really good manager. He's not just, the leader that puts himself ahead of everybody. He's that one that takes responsibility and gives credit where it's due. Circling that back to Tartarus, I guess, that's another, leadership lesson I should apply to the group. I can't just think about, making myself better, or, I bought this thing for Junpei, so he's better for it. It's like, he's got his own strengths, and he's going to overcome his challenges. I'm going to need to rely on Yukari for, her support and things, too. It's not just me there, and I need to showcase the contributions that everybody makes to the team. Whether I'm, the group leader or not, we're all still a team out there. After dealing with difficult customers, I feel like my charm and courage have increased. A little bit less plain. And a little bit beyond ordinary. Still not enough to go beyond plain or ordinary, but a step closer in both now. But it's getting late. I should head back to the dorm. Okay. Let's jump back to the desk. Wrap it up here before we get into tomorrow, since tomorrow won't happen until tomorrow. Yes, let's get back to the desk and talk a little bit about it. Okay. So that was Tuesday, May 5th. It was the conclusion of Golden Week. I felt like it was a good day. I tried to be conscious of the fact that it is Children's Day today, despite the game not giving us an abundance of opportunities to really dig into it. It was fun to take that chance to do some research and try to talk it out and convey my understanding of the holiday. But yeah, as far as the day went, it was another day off. It was the last of our Golden Week days off, which would always, I'm sure, be sad for anybody. Anytime you've got a bunch of time off and you come to the end of it, there's that realization of getting back to reality. But yeah, as far as the day went, nothing was specifically drawing our attention, so we had a few choices to make for how to spend our daytime hours. We did our socializing and walking around in the morning, talked to people, went places, kind of again talked about Children's Day and Golden Week as a whole, and decided to spend some time with the elderly couple at the bookstore. It had been a while since we'd seen them, and it was a chance to catch up with them on a day off that I had, and just be that bit of social. I thought about spending time with Maya on the online game. We did that a couple days ago. It was tempting to do it again today because our days off are so few and far between. But I wanted to just kind of vary it that little bit more, and we had also stopped in the Velvet Room to pick up a new persona with some money we had earned the night prior. So it was a good use of having that persona with us to spend time with that couple. But yeah, it was Children's Day too, so I wanted to have that same connection to learning something from the past as I could go forward and apply it to my own future. So we hung out with them. Bunkichi at first, pretended to not know our name before saying, "Oh, I remember you. Of course, that's who you are." He had a couple melon breads that he had been given, or however he came into possession of those, and he offered, "Hey, do you want one?" And I thought, yeah, if he's going to offer that, I will appreciate the offer. I don't want to be overly, "Oh, no, thank you. Those are yours." I figured because he offered it. If he didn't want us to have it, he wouldn't have offered it. And he seemed to be happy that we took it and that he got to be the guy to give us something that we wanted. He actually gave us another one because he said he and his wife had so many they'd never finish them all. And so we talked for a while. The conversation took a bit of a turn as he might not have been 100% there mentally as he was thinking about other things. He was kind of wondering, where the other worker was, where that boy was. And that kind of confused us because we've never seen anyone else in the store other than he and his wife. And he'd mentioned that, usually his son is here to help out with the store. And that was where, it got a little somber. His wife mentioned that their son wouldn't be there today and, that he had passed away. And Bunkichi kind of came to that realization of, oh yeah, that's right. So that one wasn't an act. He wasn't playing around there like he started the conversation with us, pretending to not remember us. So that was a little bit of a not so happy tone to things, but I also in the moment thought especially the fact that we showed up on Children's Day for this interaction. Hopefully it didn't bring up any negative thoughts for the couple. I can't imagine it didn't in some capacity, considering it's Children's Day and they were talking about the son that's no longer with them, but I was just kind of walking away from that, hoping that by spending time with them, I got to, I don't know, I don't want to say take their mind off of it, but make the day a little bit better. I mean, Bunkichi gave us something that I was appreciative of, and I was glad to have the chance to spend some time with them today. So hopefully they felt the same way of having me in the store today. But we got that little bit closer. We ranked up the Hierophant Social Link Arcana. And after we parted ways, I headed back to the dorm. Didn't really have a set schedule for stuff we wanted to do in the evening. And like we had done the night prior, I decided to end up at Chagall Cafe and work another shift. We'd received a text message saying they were extra busy, so they were paying a little bit more. And we're still hurting for money. And there's been a lot of talk recently in-game about leadership and preparedness and being responsible. And this seemed like that perfect opportunity again to step up and demonstrate that responsibility and commitment. We need the money for our exploration. I need the social skills to become a better person. Sure, it would be nice to spend time, doing something fun, playing a game at the arcade or what have you, or doing something academic like studying in my room like Yukari was doing. Those wouldn't have been bad choices, but I felt like this one was full of a lot of utility for our specific situation. I don't want to get to a point where we need money and we don't have it. And I mean, at the same time, I don't want to focus solely on, working for income and missing out on the other things that, are also limited. But it's that balancing act of spending the limited time we have in the way that makes sense. And I thought these choices fit our specific situation in the game. And I walked away feeling happy with them. We didn't rank up our academic or our courage or our charm, but we made a little bit of progress in both. We got paid a little bit of extra money at this, for that work. So we're just that much better able to afford something as we come forward. We've got some challenging hardship coming up on the full moon on Saturday. Nothing's been elaborated on that yet, but there's something in the immediate future. So I also kind of remembered the warning we received about that and thought that having that extra bit of money on hand could really only be to our benefit. If there's something I can buy to make whatever this challenge is easier, I'll have the means to do it and I'll be prepared, rather than wishing I had and being stuck in the moment later. Again, it just goes back to that idea of preparedness and proper, effective leadership, and doing my part for the team as everyone else is doing their own parts and advancing themselves for the team. Mitsuru's getting better at detecting things. Akihiko's recovering so he can join us. Junpei and Yukari are training in their own various ways. Yukari's with the archery team. So everybody's focused on it, and I need to also be just as focused as they are. I can't expect them to put all this work in and then have myself go spend time at the arcade or go get a meal or something with basically what feels like shared funds at this point. So I made the choice to put in the work tonight at the part-time job, and I feel good about that. We made that progress. We got a little bit better as a result. And it was a good golden week. It was nice to have that break from things and to be able to have the chance to do some different things before we get back into the everyday life going forward tomorrow. So that brings us to the end of Tuesday, May 5th. It was a good day. I think we got a lot done today. And I have been Tom Shima. It's been fantastic having you all here today. If you want to continue watching these Persona a Day playthroughs live, I am live at 12:30 Eastern Time on Twitch. Or if it works better for your schedule, I upload each day's session to YouTube, so you can catch up on the current day or past days on that channel. Whatever works best for your schedule, that's why I've got those options for you. So I hope Tuesday, May 5th continues to be a good day for everybody. I hope you accomplish everything you want to get done, and it goes as easily as it can. It's Children's Day today, so try to be mindful of the past and look towards the future on some things. Maybe find an old tradition that you could share with someone else, and try to just spend some togetherness time with somebody else if you can. Either way, whatever you get up to, I hope you enjoy it. I want to thank you again for being here, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you, and goodbye. With that, we've reached the end of the day. Please look forward to next time to see where the game goes from here. This journey is being streamed live on my Twitch channel if you'd like to be there in person for the experience. Links and schedule details can be found in the description. I'll keep uploading each day's session to this channel so you can keep watching here. Once again, I'm Tom Shima. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again as I continue the series, Persona a Day. What will tomorrow bring?